Jennifer Nisanoff, and sorry about the late start, but there was a transition of meetings in the same room here. So this is the PPAC Safety and Security Subcommittee. It is 11:08, and I call this meeting to order. The first thing on our agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, and let's do a roll call. This is Jennifer Nisanoff from Safety and Security Subcommittee. We can just go around.
Ted Crawford, Safety and Security Subcommittee.
Danny Clemens, Safety and Security Committee.
Okay, and then why don't we talk about anything else?
Yes, Bob Gepper, GSCDD.
Chelsea O'Reilly, District Manager.
Marty Mantonfeld, PPAC.
Cece Haas, an observer who's thinking about maybe applying to guns.
Carol Pankard, GSCDD.
Peggy Halls, PPAC.
Ed Hedges, PPAC.
Jay Gann.
Candidates.
Resident candidate.
Yeah. Okay,
One of those prospective members. How's that?
sounds good. And do we have anybody online?
No, other than Georgia, no.
Okay, all right. Next then is public comment. Are there any comments from the public? Okay.
Do we know how many times, we used to have a schedule on how many times the Fort Myers police are going to come in and patrol the neighborhoods for stop signs and stuff like that. And we had a schedule. Are they keeping up with that schedule? Because otherwise we were going to go to the county and we had a backup plan. Because I haven't seen too much enforcement.
They changed.
Oh, I was going to actually turn it over to Danny since he's
Danny, you want to speak to that? I was going to say, changed police chief, so.
Yeah.
The schedule with Fort Myers has been consistent twice a month, and it's being reduced to once a month starting May. They do make their visits. I verify it. I obtain a copy report, and I have that in my minutes.
Okay.
As of right now, they have been performing as requested, including making adjustments in violation areas such as Trieste, Vincenza Court.
Thank you.
But to the part of, is that enough for this committee to be satisfied, or do we want more, and we're willing to pay for it? Can we go to the lead cap?
Well, there has not been a request for more. Since we increased it to 2 per month, and now it's going to be reduced due to less population. That has not been discussed as far as increasing it, other than once a month. Right now, it's been approved for once a month starting in June, May.
And budget, approved the budget.
Approved and budgeted, correct.
And then when season comes around again, we'll put it back up to twice a month?
That's correct.
Okay.
Or we can increase it based on funding. They're willing to do it. They did fall short a couple of months ago, and I called them out on it, and they jumped right on it, and the officers started responding.
Okay, great.
And one of the things administratively that we do need to do is update the MOU with the city because it only accounts for most of the streets in Old Pelican. I know they're patrolling New Pelican, but administratively that's on our to-do list. It's on the list, it's not at the top of the list, I'll just say that.
Okay.
Thank you for the update.
No problem.
Anything else from the public? Okay, terrific. Next thing on the list is approval of the minutes, and this is for the February 22nd meeting. Are there any comments about the minutes? Okay, so no updates or changes needed from, okay, then do I hear a motion to approve?
I move that we approve the minutes of the February 22, 2024 meeting. Ted Crawford.
Second by Danny Clemens.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
All right.
Aye. All opposed? So those are the minutes. Financial report. Are you doing the financial report?
We've got it up here. If you have any questions, let us know. It looks like I left a note for Laura from it was from the PPAC meeting about making sure that some of the items got posted correctly for like the road resurfacing, make sure that those got
reappropriated. So I think we still might need to do that.
That 200.
Yes, yes, ma'am. So I will make a note for Laura.
In looking, uh, in looking at the document as presented, if you take out the capital item, which would be a variable, those come to $507,500. The actual year-over-year budget that the group manages is $768,500. Just for information. It's kind of misleading that it has the capital in it this way. You got to express it somehow. But that's not a year-over-year budget.
Yeah, we asked Laura to separate those.
Yeah.
The operation of.
Give it some kind of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Separate capital costs from
It's the
op.
same for homes.
Okay. Yep,
Yeah.
we can have that updated. Make note.
And the reason that's so important is, yeah, if the 1.276 was a carryover, we'd think, okay, I haven't raised the budget to start the neutral, revenue neutral, but you're not. You're actually raising the non-ad valorem by $507,000. If that was all in your budget, that's it.
Anything else?
I just have a question on the gatehouse maintenance and repair, that with $400. Is that a result of accidents or is that normal maintenance year to date?
I am not sure, but I can follow up and get back to you.
Last time I talked to Laura, everything that happened related to accident. I didn't get.
But have we expended anything? And if we've been reimbursed, is there any?
Well, like the last one that happened, we didn't even spend money. They did it.
They just did it. Yeah. The now encumbered is POs that are outstanding. I know we've got the new camera that's outstanding. I believe that there was a call for hands-free to come out because there was a malfunction with the gate arm a week and a half ago. So those may be outstanding POs, but I can find out and report back to you all.
But I don't believe they're related.
No.
This is Ed. I looked at the year-to-date report of all the things that were listed in the board of directors financials last month. And it just looks like, and I was talking to Jennifer, it looks like some of the things they have going in the wrong house. And so somebody needs to get, because there was a West Coast lighting charged to street repair. So that was probably lighting would go to the street lighting. And so somebody needs to sit down with somebody over Gateway Financial and go through and make sure things are going to the right place.
Well, historically, it's on, and that's why the details provided quarterly. Somebody in this community, either you or your husband, can go through every invoice and see if it's broken. If it hasn't allocated a broken, then you go back to Laura and say, this should go here. So, but that's why you get that minutia. The 10-page report that people don't want to see every month. If you look at it quarterly, you can stay on top of this. Because the mistakes with it.
Where do the invoices show up? And where?
There's a document, you say it's Laura.
Every month it's in our monthly report, and the detail of that's exactly where Ed pulled it from. In the second meeting of every Board of Supervisors meeting, we have monthly reports and the financials that are produced from Infomark, who's our accountant. They are attached to the admin report.
And every month, this goes back to October 1st. Account, anything from October 1st to whatever you look at it.
Yep.
It's got every expense that's ever been. It's a great document, but it does have mistakes.
And just for that report is only money spent, checks cut, checks written, not encumbered what's outstanding.
Right.
So
Right.
I have another comment. But for the police patrol, it's only showing you the pay 260. I know for a fact it's more than that. I've approved payment prior to March, and I'm not being shown.
okay.
I'll go through my records and see the reports that I have, and then where I can be updating them.
I will follow up with that one as well, Danny.
Yeah, a lot of, I just looked, there's a lot of city of Fort Myers invoices, we think it's security of it.
And
Which should probably either be for
recategorized.
utilities, for water or sewer, or for the police.
Ask another question. when we look at this report of the invoices, will it say which account it's supposed to get charged to? Or how does that get?
Do you have a copy of that? Yeah, there, you can just show it to her. So I believe it does have the account code and then what's been charged to it.
This.
Yeah.
So these are the invoices listed, but not.
These are paid.
These
These
are
are
paid.
paid.
Yeah, I understand. But if I wanted to see what was written out, because I've seen invoices before, when just in our packages, which it'll have detail about, this is the work that was actually done. Because if I look at this,
That would have to be a separate request to Laura, and that would be, yeah, it would have to be a public records request. Yeah.
sorry about all the questions.
No, this is good. We're in the middle of budget. Yeah. I just have one thing. The draft budget is going to the Board of Supervisors next Thursday. Laura may be emailing the chairs of all of the subcommittees asking for additional detail. Like what is that safety and security other? What is that comprised of? So if we can at least put some detail behind that, we're trying to give as much information as we can. That way, year over year, we know what contracts fall under which line item, et cetera. So, but the draft agenda should be posted by the end of today with the draft budget.
Good info. Okay. All right. Perfect. All right, items for discussion. The first discussion is safety and security member selection and recommendation. In our package, we have a great form here from Mr. or Colonel Gan. Is that how you pronounce that name? Gan. And he is requesting to join the committee. So what we'd like to do today is just chat a little bit and see if we would like to make that recommendation to PPAC for approval. Do you want to just give the group a quick overview?
Yes, quick, retired Army engineer colonel, worked a lot of infrastructure development in Iraq and Afghanistan, worked a lot with the Corps of Engineers in their offices there and here. Run the gamut of programs, construction programs. Civilian side, I'm also got a 30 years experience in logistics.
Why are you interested?
Full-time resident, the main thing, yes, full-time resident, full-time resident, and just wanted to get involved in what I could do to help.
Any questions? Okay.
And then just to clarify, I'm not I've got the NTA. You know, the Army engineers, a lot of them, they don't have engineering degrees per se. So they'll mainly the management leadership, construction programs and infrastructure programs.
Okay.
Are you full-time or what? I'm full-time.
Does your wife know that you've applied?
Or your significant other.
Oh, valid question.
If there is one.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Okay. Do I hear a proposal to recommend Colonel Gan, to join our team?
I just have one question.
Oh, certainly.
Do you want to be acknowledged as Colonel Dan or?
Okay. I notice everyone here is acknowledged as the first name. So first name would be Jay.
Okay. All right, CJ.
I propose that we recommend Jay Young to Safety and Security Committee.
I second that one.
Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay.
All right, this will go to the next PPAC meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
Excuse me, Jennifer, you still have one vacancy, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. Mhm.
Tell your friends.
And that would be a full pay.
Well,
No, but I'm trying to get Cece to.
yeah.
If it's appropriate, may I address the group?
Certainly.
Okay, so I'm Cece Haas, full-time resident here, 5 years. Do a lot of things at Pelican, do a lot of things outside of Pelican. Carol approached me just 2 days ago and told me about the Subcommittee and asked me, she knows that I got involved with Officer McCoy, Orange Police Department, and not that way. And he tried to get me involved in this team and people. But I ended up becoming a board member of Orange Police Department. And so I do that, which is not really security involved, but it's my exposure to it. And I was married to a cop for many years. But my background professionally is facilities management. And it was on a 40-acre campus with 10 buildings. And our department oversaw security, construction, everything you can safety, everything you can think of within a medical center. So though I don't have those, my degrees are management. So I don't have the expertise technically. And before I even put my head in, as to what does the role involve? In terms of time commitment, in terms of what you think that somebody with my facilitator type background could contribute to what you're doing. Maybe you need somebody that is more engineer, whatever. But I'm willing to consider it depending on what your need is.
Well, I don't know how to answer the time commitment because I think it's different for every person and what projects they're working on. But in terms of your background, I think we need a wide variety of people here because we have folks who are from security and the police department. I don't have this kind of background. My background is IT and public safety, but public safety more like 911 and those kinds of public safety. And we're hoping to get more people on the team who understand the infrastructure and are program managers, et cetera. Dean, who's not here today, has the traffic, I don't even know what you would call it, an engineering kind of background. But we've got a couple of big projects coming up, or big programs actually coming up with potentially moving to FPL, just having a go, no go. Do we want to move our streetlights to FPL and have them manage it? Big infrastructure project, big financial implications. So understanding all of that, we have an in-depth report on the viability, I don't know if that's the right word, of our streets and when we might need to redo streets.
Sort of the last PPA.
Exactly.
Yes.
And then we've got one that we're going to talk a little bit about today on bridges. So having somebody who is really knowledgeable about program management and being able to facilitate that. I think the CDD, and Chelsea can correct me if I'm wrong, they have lots of experts on the actual public works and the how do you actually go about doing this kind of thing. And we're developing, actually, I think we've developed a pretty good relationship between the two groups in the last year since we've been working closer together. And so we always have that kind of expertise to fall back on.
One thing I would add, though, very strong deficit in my package is math, finance, not my area. I mean, I'm president of my own organization here. I trust the treasurer totally. So just so you know, I'm not into numbers.
And I bring some of that to the table because I was the treasurer of our HOA here and HOA someplace else.
Yeah.
I don't have a degree in accounting, but in my professional life, I had to manage rather large budgets. So I got a lot of practical experience. So it kind of sounds like you may not have a degree in actually
Not
the
not a civil or
engineering.
mechanical.
Exactly, but you have a lot of practical experience. So I think I'm kind of a proponent of getting a well-balanced team put together that has a lot of different kinds of expertise and we can all work together.
But is it a
Get
monthly
things done.
meeting?
It's a monthly
And
meeting.
how controlled are you by Florida Sunshine?
Very
Which I
controlled.
find to be such a pain in the rear.
We're controlled. I'll be honest, we're controlled.
Yes.
We are
It's
totally.
difficult at times.
Yeah. And that's something our team has had to get used to because it's only been about a year now, maybe a little longer than a year since we've been under those. And we were very used to running, I'll be honest, pretty ad hoc. We'd send out emails to each other and we'd say, hey, this needs to be done. What do you all think? Okay, fine, let's get together in a couple weeks and see how we're doing. And you can't do that anymore. So we're slowly but surely getting into the discipline of being under sunshine laws.
But in that same sense, if the committee as a whole, you know, Danny is mainly handling the security stuff. If he's been that appointed person, then the committee has granted him that ability to exercise that. So same if other projects come up with, I know Dean has been kind of the point person for the FPL stuff. So it's a collective group, but and the board does the same thing. I just met with a board member the other day to bring back work on a task and bring that back to the board. So there's, yes, absolutely restricted by sunshine, but there's still the ability to get things done.
I think one thing that this has brought to our team is the, and I don't know that I'd say ability, but because of the structure, residents are very well informed or could be well informed if they wanted to be. And I'm not saying they don't want to be, but it's all out there in the open on the CBD website, the front page. You know, it's orange.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, there are advantages to it as well. And we've gotten great input from it.
The other thing is, not that I'm a participant, I would be a participant, but I always attend the PPAC meetings. Would I still be able to do that?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Do you have any other questions? Just ask any of us on the team or people who, a lot of the people here are regulars to our meetings. So just
Yeah, I am
feel free.
AARP. I volunteer in tax season. I'm kind of spent a little longer. That's not that's numbers. I do another role for them.
Uh-huh.
That's
So I said,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for the information.
Oh, anytime.
thank you for the interest. Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, sounds like you'd be a great match. All right, now, I don't know that, have we voted?
Yeah.
Okay. I
For
don't remember. Okay, all right, got those part about other things. Can't remember. Yeah, I know, you know. All right, so moving right along. Then we've got the Cypress Grove and Prado Drive roundabout brick pavers.
Do you want me to give some background? So we did receive a complaint about some pavers at this roundabout that needed repair. Staff went in and inspected, solicited a quote from TMO. Unfortunately, they were the only one who responded.
Do you find that a problem here, having already made?
Absolutely, absolutely. So ultimately, this is the quote that was received. There's some curb work that needs to be done. It's cracked, but we're looking for your direction if you want to proceed with this now or kick it to next year. But there's definitely some repairs of the pavers that need to be completed. And I don't know, there's a lot of,
I don't know that there was a picture of it per se, but yeah, there's all the brochure.
oh my goodness. Okay. Maybe.
Is that what you saw? I went
Oh, there it
driving
is. Here we-
around today. because-
So it's,
And I'll be honest, I drove around 3 times trying to find what the issue is.
Oh.
Right, so I knew where the circle was, and that's what I took a picture of.
Is it the curb or the pavement?
it's both. There's both. It's both. There's a portion of curb and then there's pavers that are cracked up. Yes. Yes.
That's the only spot I could find, but.
If I be allowed, I put in the request, the one on the bottom right there.
Yep.
We had a neighbor fall and trip on a raised stone. They have fixed it. It's totally fine. That doesn't need any additional work.
Okay, yeah, the one I saw
But
was
is this
on the,
proposal just for
on that one, yeah.
Is it just for that one above, or are they talking about the whole?
Both. Both.
Oh, it's for both?
Yeah. So we've got work that needs to be done for both pavers that need to be replaced at both locations. Staff addressed the one paver that was raised. Okay. But when we're out there, we're not just, looking, we're gonna look at everything. Okay. So ultimately, we're just looking for direction if you want to proceed or not at all.
This is Danny Clement. I think we need to take a better look at it. This is new to me, and one picture doesn't really validate $14,000.
Okay.
So I.
Yeah.
Whatever the number was, it's ridiculous, and it's a matter of different color on a paver or a different shade. It's the street.
We can table it to the next meeting if it give you all time to go out and inspect it yourself, if that's what you'd like. Cracked pavers or damage, or keep in mind, this is not a pedestrian walkway. This is for vehicles.
Okay, so it's a vehicle, okay.
So it's for large trucks, it's called a ribbon curb. And that's if a semi comes through, they need the additional radius to make the turn. So it's not for pedestrians. So don't look at it in a pedestrian sense, look at it as a vehicle sense. And then also, I mean, cosmetically, pavers are cracked. Are they still doing what they need? Look at it and keep that in the back of your mind. Look at both locations. We can table it for the next meeting. We addressed the concern at hand, but again, looking big picture, we don't just want to Band-Aid one piece.
Safety issue.
Correct. Thank you, Marty.
So can I raise a question, Mrs. Peggy? Why was there a bid submitted for something that didn't come through the committee?
We solicited a quote so that way because they could have an idea as to what the cost would be if they chose to move on it. Because the first question I ask is, well, how much is it going to cost? Because that is a driving factor of the needed repairs or not. Staff would solicit the quotes and then bring that in front of the committee.
So a resident brought this up, or what this come?
It was driven by the original complaint from CC. That one. Yeah. And then we looked at both. Hey.
I understand.
Yeah.
That's included one missing paper down by the end of Casella 4.
Okay.
They closed the request, but they didn't replace that one
missing paper.
Right. And there's no way within the quick fix for me to go back in and say, hey, by the way, and I just didn't think it was big enough to make.
I will note that and follow up with staff.
One thing I'd ask everyone who's going to go down and take a look at this, take 2 minutes and just look through what this $19,000 includes, because it's not just repaving the ribbon curb. It's also talking about, I can't remember all the details, they're digging it up and they have to dig down really far and put some kind of infrastructure down, stand down and a lot of other things like that. It's added up.
That's a good point.
Yeah, just they understand. I don't understand why all that.
We just put this in.
I don't, well, that was my next question. Construction, they usually drop a bond, am I correct?
Yes.
They do repair.
Yep.
And when they complete their construction project, there's supposed to be a survey which
The-
rescues road.
The engineer does that and they certify it. And if it's.
No, yeah, but this is-
But yeah, so the process is they do provide a construction bond in the district's name. The district holds that for the duration of the project. At the end, when they say, hey, we're done completing construction, the engineer goes out and inspects it and provides a punch list, making sure it meets the district standards. Contractor is responsible for getting it to those standards. And then once that's been approved and everything from the legal standpoint has been approved, then we offer the release, which it's a reduction to 10%. We hold that bond for 3 years. It puts it into a warranty period. And at the end of the 3rd years, we do that same cycle again, inspect it, make sure no issues, warranty issues, And then we would release the remaining 10%.
My next question, is there a warranty period? Look at, when they get sell complete construction, you know, the last,
Bob, do you know when Casella completed construction?
It's still
The end of 21.
yeah,
Okay,
so we're still in that 3-year period. If we wanted to look that way, then what do we define as being the culprit?
1R.
we would go after the bond. If we still have it on file. I'm not sure. I'd have to look into that, and I can do that while you guys are. I'm not going to assume anything because I've learned. I will do some research to that, Danny. That's a good point. If this does fall within the Casella bond, and I will see if we have released that or put it into warranty.
This is the end, but my suspicion is that the pavers were put in there more as a decorative landscaping, just rather than having grass there, so that if somebody did, that there was something there other than grass to get a rut in that, so it's more of a landscaping visual, and what they're proposing, it sounds like, is to dig that up and actually put in a road where the pavement underneath the pavers, so that if large truckers want it, it would have a stable base and not that. So again, not being a roadway technical expert.
One observation, please, for that one down closer to Casella. That really, the area where it was raised and then fell is the area where when they were working on the pond, the weir behind Casella 4, their trucks damaged. They made a mistake. They went the wrong way. They damaged it. Gateway was involved, and the trucker made good on that. It is perhaps possible the trucker didn't repair it properly, which means it was not necessarily congenital issue.
Okay. Good point.
Because
Anything?
a roundabout of radar just has grass around it. It doesn't have a favor.
That whole thing's pavers.
No,
Oh, okay.
that's bigger. That's where probably is, but inside the circle. You got them? Yeah, the road was big. Right.
That was relatively new.
Other way? Oh, this one?
They did that as an effort. That's one.
Yeah.
That's the
It's
one.
relatively new.
That's an old.
Yeah. They have tough papers now.
Okay. All right. We'll move that to the next meeting.
Okay.
So to be, make a motion to table it, or we just?
We're just going to table it. So we'll have a chance to go on table.
Okay.
Yep. All right. Next one is Volker Bridge inspections.
So I asked them to provide an executive summary, as much as I love the 100+ page reports that they provided. So this is the executive summary. Ultimately, there's some minor repairs that need to be done, nothing that's of major concern. And if we want, I can find out from Volker who they've used for similar repair, or who they know of similar contractors that do those types of repairs, and we can solicit a quote if that's the direction of the committee and PPAC. But ultimately, a lot of it's cosmetic.
It's like it's just loose hardwood.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
This was not in golf. Bridge, correct, or was?
I believe some of them around the conservation area 6 were included.
It's only district. Okay.
Only-
District property, yes.
Yes.
So the number of golf course bridges.
Correct. It's just, yep,
So it does have conservation.
yes, because those are district.
Recommended that in the letter to the golf course, tell them that they probably should affect their bridges.
Okay.
You did make this recommendation.
I'd have to follow up with,
Sounds like what you're,
What it's worth.
sounds like a Marty.
Okay.
That's good news. Now we look at it.
Well, What do y'all think about going ahead and getting, time and cost on this? On the actual repairs that need to be done that the district can't take care of? Equipment they already have. I don't think there's any harm in doing it. Find out how much it would cost to do it. Yeah. Do you need a motion?
Well, your recommendation would go up to P-PAC and then P-PAC would make that. But yep, I would suggest a motion.
You would suggest
A motion, yes, make a motion.
Yeah, why not? Because as long as it's separate. As long as it's separate so that we can make a decision to just do the structural thing without the cosmetic.
Because I know that's an outstanding issue on.
So we would solicit quotes for what we could do in-house, we would do in-house, solicit quotes for the what do they call them in here?
Structural issues, but I don't know.
Yeah, they're not minor cracks, just to address the minor cracks that staff can't address, and then additionally solicit quotes for, please be clear on your motion if you want us to handle the wood ones as well, or just the box culverts, the concrete ones.
Thinking about the implications, why would we separate?
Ponds is here for take. Got a golf course conservation.
Then there would,
As a budget
well, then there would have to be a conversation with
with
Doug Zanter. Yeah. But
historic, and that's
Okay.
Yeah.
In the executive summary, they also talked about periodic inspections.
yes,
How do we get that in the budget to make sure that we do that?
it would be through budget cycles each year.
Did they make you want periodic?
Yeah, right here in the last pair. Yeah, cart path and culvert should be in 24 to 48 months.
So we are saying for all items not able to be taken care of by CDD maintenance, minor cracks. So we want quotes on that. I'm just trying to frame out this proposal. For the painting, we want to break out the wood bridges that are traditionally ponds and the box/concrete. I don't know what the official term was. And this is for painting and have separate quotes for those. So we're actually asking the 3 separate quotes, if I understand. Minor cracks, the painting for the wood bridges, the painting for the concrete. No,
if I can, they don't pay with pressure washing.
I'm
It's not, so keep the wooden bridge, I think.
yeah, because don't we have a pressure washer?
Yes.
So we don't even have to go out and do that. So
Correct.
basically the wooden ones, we don't have to worry about.
It was never a single.
Make it simpler.
It's like the wood. It's never all we do now is pressure washing.
Okay.
Same thing with the boardwalk. We don't do anything with the boardwalk. But pressure.
Okay, so that's even simpler. Concrete bridges only. So is that the correct motion then? A motion to, for all items that the CDD maintenance team cannot address, get a quote for the minor crack repair, as well as painting the concrete bridges, and have those quotes be separate so that we can make a decision on each one separately.
That covers it.
Okay.
It was a great motion.
Thank you. Took me a couple times to get there.
Very good.
Do I hear a motion to request this work? Or recommend this work, I should say.
This is Danny Clemens. I make a motion to recommend whatever you just said.
Okay,
Ted Crawford, I second it.
okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, so we are passing a motion to recommend this work to PPAC.
Yes.
Okay. And that'll be at their next.
For them to
Yes.
pursue the bids.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Will be assigning and categorizing and prioritizing the tasks of this new improvement with the power washer and
Staff. So all staff, I answer to the Board of Supervisors and then staff answers to me. Now, what we've talked about with these committees and with Daniel is if there are tasks that this committee, ponds or landscaping sees that need to be handled or could be handled in-house, that list would be provided to Daniel and then he would delegate accordingly. Because we're guaranteeing 40 hours dedicated to Pelican. It's not necessarily one person. Some tasks may take the entire crew, some may take two, but Pelican is getting 40 hours of maintenance staff every week.
This is still subject to discussion. Respectfully, I think parent assumption will be generating those. I don't know if there's a conflict there, but the major domo lead demand are going to be the subsystem. And that was the focal point that the district to actually get to work on.
Yeah. So no.
You may have said the same thing you said.
Yeah, we did.
Question. So is this report going to PPAC?
Yes.
Okay, because I have some technical questions that I have that are not in the report.
Okay.
So where do I address those, here or at the next PPAC meeting?
If you're asking it as a PPAC member, you should address it at the PPAC meeting. But if you want to send me those technical questions in advance so we can work on getting answers, you can email that to Daniel and myself, please.
I read the.
I would I would expect no less. Thank you.
Yeah, just a. Gorgeous picture of the Vincenzo Bridge with the. It said, what's missing? Wow.
Saw that. What was missing?
And it's almost everybody said, the wire hanging down below.
They chopped that out.
You shopped it out. But I'm going
But
to
so
say
did
that.
chop. There's a wire that's hanging down.
Can we request for that get taken care
It's not, if it's not our bridge,
No, I put the email to the clerk where it says, I told them that it's not district property. I wanted to know when the bridge was going to be painted and repaired. And repaired, meaning that wire underneath. And the response was that we're not sure who owns the bridge.
At this point in time, like I stop again, Tony has told us through his research that the bridge belongs to the community association. The community association is doing their own independent investigation.
Tony didn't say it's the community associations. Tony just said it is not ours.
No.
We don't know whose it is. It is not ours.
Well said, because I think well, whatever, it is not ours. So the community association is now doing independently investigating to confirm that it's not ours.
They would
DVD.
they would not commit to painting or repair.
Not if they can put it on someone else.
Jennifer, like that open can warn if you said to paint the bridges. What colors?
I knew you would.
So they're gonna be the existing colors or the new landscape colors? What don't you like?
The reason I'm hesitating,
Either
is
one.
I understand where that question's coming from. But is there gonna be a big difference in cost depending on the color?
It's paint.
You're gonna have to decide on something.
Yeah.
Exactly, but if we get the cost and we don't like it, or it costs a lot, that could be the secondary.
And it's certainly got to be cooperative.
Yeah.
Everybody that would agree on.
Landscape went off on their own.
No, no, they didn't.
Well, we didn't adopt the.
Landscape did not go off on their own. There was a group that came up with those colors, and PPCA was represented in that. Absolutely.
I just have a question on that wire that we're talking about. What is it an electrical wire?
Yeah, it's a light underneath the bridge.
It's a light.
You go look at it.
If I spill the gear on, I'll read it.
But they did Photoshop it.
It'll be gone.
So Jennifer, I have two items that are not on here, but I would like to bring them up for items for discussion, if you don't mind.
Okay,
If we're done with the Bull Creek Bridge
I
inspection.
think we're done with both bridges. I have a couple things I'd like to bring up too, so go ahead.
I heard the motion and
Oh.
you made the motion, he seconded. Did you? Okay.
All in favor?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? It passes.
Okay.
3-0. Sorry.
So just this item, you'll entertain me. This item came up over the weekend. This pedestrian sign was damaged. There's only a single pedestrian sign. It was reported to us, and ultimately I'm looking for direction from this committee. It's not a requirement. It's just an enhancement. They run between $300 and $400 each. If we did replace it, there would need to be at least 2. But looking for your direction, if you wish for us to replace the pedestrian sign. Yes, yes.
This is Danny Clements. I live in that area. That is the worst sign that could ever be placed in this community. People, residents, do not understand what the sign means. They stop when there's nobody there. And unfortunately, people drive over it because they just.
Well,
whatever.
it's
There is-
one crosswalk out of how many are within the whole community?
Yeah, I think it doesn't make sense. I would recommend we remove the sign altogether. People, residents know crosswalks are for pedestrians. Problem is that the golf carts coming out of the golf course, that's a separate issue. But that was hit by somebody at night. So it didn't involve pedestrian issues. It was not a safety issue when it was hit.
Mhm.
And it was more confusing for the residents and visitors because they see a stop sign. And that's the only time they stop, but they don't stop at a stop sign. And it's supposed to stop. So my recommendation, my opinion is eliminate the second one, put it aside, and we go forward from there. And we look at it and say, is there an issue at that intersection that we need to address further as a safety concern?
I agree. That's the real issue. That sign was abandoned. Because everybody knows coming off that hill, coming down towards Pelican Reserve Boulevard, there's a problem. I don't have the answer, but that's what the sign is putting as abandoned.
Yeah, so we did get confirmation Castle had procured this, handful of years ago, but ultimately staff were sitting on it, trying to figure out, do you want to replace it or not? So I said, oh, they're meeting today. Let me ask them. So.
Somewhat now. Study of that.
I mean, there are things that can be done to address that. Like button that you set up a light in the center of the intersection, but those signs are more confusing than anything else. And I think it creates more of a safety hazard than the sign itself.
There is no crosswalk painted on the sign.
I'm sorry. It was also slightly in the road.
Well, that's another problem.
Yeah.
That's in the spill.
It's been hit more than once. This time it really got damaged. And I know it happened at night.
Is there a crosswalk painted? in
Yes,
the-
there is a crosswalk. Really?
So when coming down Cypress Road towards Pelican, you can't see until you run over.
So I'm just looking for direction from the committee.
Who has the power to say?
This committee.
Okay.
So they're not required.
Why?
I make a motion to just not replace the broken sign.
And remove the existing ones.
Yes. Yeah, this is Danny. Yeah, I motion to remove the existing one and not replace it at this time pending further developments, if there are any that we need to really look at.
I second that motion.
Okay. All in favor?
Right?
All opposed?
And we still have that stored, we'll have it stored somewhere. Well, that belongs to PPCA, correct? That's fine.
I don't believe so. I believe it
That's
was
a lot of these-
on behalf of using district
All right,
funds.
so whoever wants to store it in case we have to bring it out.
We'll add it to the sign yard.
Yeah,
We'll see if
that
we
needs to
find
be
it
done with it.
Yeah.
Get rid
Okay. And then I have one additional item. And I don't know if you had your workshop about the security contract or the access control contract. Let me clarify. And so what came of that workshop was, hey, we need the drop dead date on when the district needs the scope, understanding that RFP has to go out and it has to, once it comes back, there's a process. It has to come through this committee. It has to go through PPAC, and then it has to go to the board for their approval. Randy crunched the numbers, giving some wiggle room, not much at all. And so ultimately, in order to have it approved, I guess I can tell you the dates if you want to jot them down. So a proposed meeting date for this committee We need your drop dead date would be May 7th. Okay. So that would be the final draft of the scope, and then that would be plugged in and it would be turned over to the attorney for his review. Final copy would be brought back to your May 23rd meeting with all of Tony's edits, comments. We would release the bid on May 30th. Bid letting is what it's called. It has to be out on the street for a minimum of 30 days. So it would go to PPAC. You would update PPAC on June 13th, letting them know that it's out to bid. The bid opening would be July 3rd. Your July 25th meeting would be the bid recommendation. It would go to PPAC on August 8th with the letter of recommendation due on August 29th for the September 5th board meeting approval.
Does that mean that you have to have a meeting
Yes,
before the 7th?
yes. Which we have enough time to post that agenda, and this would be, there's that as well.
Can you cut me in half? I can do both.
Okay, I have a few questions then. Can we get these dates like maybe written up? So
Yeah.
just to make sure my notes may.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, but I'd like to get them.
I can have it emailed to you. Yep.
Okay.
I'll send it to the whole group.
Okay, great. And the second thing is, I was hoping we could spend the last hour talking about the status of the scope information. So we'll have a better idea at the end of that, what we need to do between now and the 7th.
Perfect.
Is there really enough time for this group to make a consideration or recommendation and then get buy-in for the PDCA?
Well,
The actual
You can see
document
that
is pretty, unless there are objections or issues coming from the CBD as far as utilizing the services to include the town center, it's basic, it's gonna be the exact same document.
But it's the attachment to it. Devil's in the detail.
Devil's in the detail will be a post orders,
That's what I mean.
and
That
that's,
will have to be part of this, won't it, or not?
excuse me?
Well, okay, so I was listening to your last meeting, and what you're expecting of the vendor and what you're paying for needs to be put into the scope of the RFP. Now, if it's your intent to use the existing one and just update exhibits and things like that, we can work through that. Staff can help through that. The only thing, the Board of Supervisors already approved continuing having the services at the town center. To the extent of that has to be reviewed by the attorney. So I don't know if through this contract they can come up and shake the door, check the light, or that has to be determined by the attorney for our exposure for liability. But I would say get it all down. We'll get it to him. He's going to need some time. Again, there's a little bit of wiggle room in here, but if we can get the meat of it, and if we're just trying to update exhibits, we can work on that in the behind the scenes while the attorney is reviewing the meat.
I'll follow up. Yesterday I had a meeting with KW as well as board president with me. And they were all in favor, all persons present, were in favor of what I presented to them, which pretty much we talked about.
Okay.
Workshop.
You're already further ahead than I thought you were. That's great.
Right.
Yeah, that's already been handled, so and all I need to do is pen the paper, well, I'm based on additional comments and the attachments that I have to put in.
Okay, I have a question. In our last meeting, you may be doing it in 2 meetings versus one big sub team, but you were going to talk to KW, which it sounds like you have, PPCA. You were going to rope in Daniel, and then you were also going to talk to Casella and Filazzo, the HOAs, to just make sure they're okay with the scope of.
I haven't spoken with them yet, I have to get their HOA president of those two groups and sit down with them. If they don't want us to do it, it's gonna be a stop for the patrol anyway, they patrol
I
that
understand.
community anyway, so it's just a matter of.
I was just looking to see how far you had gotten through that.
They only down to 19 points.
That's gonna be a point for the patrol anyway, they do to date, It's not gonna change. The only thing is the actual response or the action taken of looking and saying, are the lights on in the pool? If so, is it after dusk? Are they in violation of state law? Not to take any action, but to call whoever, Costello or
Yes,
Palazzo, you had a problem with your pool, yes, you need to address it.
right. Okay. I was just trying to figure out how far you've gotten through that list.
Sounds like you're rolling.
And it sounds, yeah, absolutely. And just as a reminder and info for everybody, the output of that was going to be a letter on their letterhead saying that they were okay with this and who the point of contact would be to contact if there was a problem.
Correct.
Okay. I just want to make sure everybody understood that that's what we're looking for in case there are any questions.
We want everyone's buy-ins, what they understand, this is what they're gonna do. And again, they're not there to take any action at all other than to observe and report.
Right.
That's it.
When would you be ready to present to the group the pen and paper? Because what you should do today is continue this meeting to that time. I think you could do
I'm gonna work on it over the weekend and hope to have it out by,
the third, what, first.
I'm gonna go further than get
Well-
than that.
I have a question that may help. Now, it's out on SharePoint, and I know a couple of people have already gone in and made some updates and comments in SharePoint.
I haven't looked at it, so I'll be honest.
Okay,
What's it called?
SharePoint?
Your point, never heard that, okay.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of access you guys have. It's a facility where they put the document out and you can actually go in and update the document itself, so we don't get into the version and control issues.
I want one document.
I'll call Becky.
Yeah.
I'll get up to speed.
Okay, all right, because I know, I think Ed said you couldn't find it in SharePoint.
I think.
Can we go to that right now? Can we go to ship?
Yeah, maybe.
If that's what you want.
That's a good idea. How we get.
Let me,
I had one question that I should have brought up. I forgot to bring up during public comments or whatever, but did the street light from tree line get fixed? They were out.
I honestly don't have an answer. I can ask, I can,
I know they were out there not 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I emailed. Everything back by their.
So this is how we get into SharePoint. Oh, that's it. Can you show how to actually get into SharePoint?
Daniel sent, this email. Daniel sent this email to all of the committee members, and then this
Yeah.
file right here, you just click this link.
And then if you're already in looking at your email, your CDD district email, you go up to the upper left-hand corner and there's like 9 dots. And if you click on those 9 dots, one of the options is SharePoint. Then you can get into SharePoint that
Yeah,
way.
so this, here's an example. So if you're into your,
Yeah.
see these dots up here, that's
Okay,
what
so make-
she's talking about.
Look, look.
Yeah. And
And
then,
then you see SharePoint.
Yeah.
I was doing it from memory.
so,
Okay, so that's how you get to SharePoint. And then you can see, and whatever the name of the document was, it was pretty obvious that it was.
yeah, it's called RFP Security Services
Yeah.
Scoping Draft.
Is this better circle? Yes.
Not even going there. No, I'm very serious.
Do I have a format like circle or?
This is a storage portal that has, version control to it, yeah. So
It's Microsoft. It's a Microsoft app.
Microsoft.
Yeah.
Sorry, my.
No, that's okay. And it really solves a lot.
Jumping.
Were you gonna say something, Dan?
Hey, did you find fix my spelling?
No, I didn't check that. Give me the final thing and I'll make sure it's airtight. Okay. Was it that?
I have not gone in here and looked at this yet.
Okay. So can we all take, and we being at least the committee members, and love anybody else who'd like to who have access to go in and make comment. What should a good deadline be for you, Danny, for everybody to go in there so that you can finish your?
I would say no later than. I gotta get it into by the 7th.
Well, you might back that up a few days.
I know.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, signed. individuals go into SharePoint, making changes that are not agreed upon by other people. That's, I prefer not to have individuals making changes to the document without going through the committee. Because that change may create a dialogue that someone else disagrees with.
You could put a comment.
But comments, yes, comments would be, yeah, the changes, I would say, I wouldn't be, but no changes, okay, comments.
So your formal document. Okay.
Thing in the calendar.
Well, if you continue this meeting, the agenda doesn't necessarily have to be posted a week in advance, but you're not giving everybody the opportunity to review it
Right.
in a short notice.
Well, that, yeah.
Well, if they change this meeting. Actually.
Mhm.
So the 7th, I would say by Friday the 3rd, next Friday, I'm gonna have my final document.
Okay.
Other than,
Well, I think that'll give the weekend and then a couple days in advance of the
I
meeting.
would go by the 3rd.
Did you continue the meeting till the 6th?
So
6th?
the 7th is,
Well,
the
7th is Tuesday,
yeah, the 7th.
that's a drop dead day. That
No.
Yeah, we need,
We need to be away.
Well, they,
I think we need to back it up.
5-1.
Yeah, can,
5-3 ought to be the review date for this group.
Yeah.
well, we have to make sure that there's availability of this room and or at the other office, which there is at the other office if needed, if you don't have availability here.
5-1.
May 1st?
okay, so May 1st, you'll have everything updated and we can go in and make comments.
By the 1st.
Okay, so by the 1st, you'll have all your stuff in. Then by the meeting on the 3rd, we'll have had time to make any comment, not changes to the document, but comment
That will
in
bring to
the SharePoint. Okay, well, is it easier to put it in SharePoint or just to the meeting, bring to the meeting?
the comments should be in SharePoint.
Yeah, okay.
It's already there, and then we can incorporate them into the document, finalize it,
Sounds good.
or if we need to further discuss it, we can say.
So on May 1st, I'm supposed to go into SharePoint, and make my comments, then we'll all talk about them
After
on May 3rd.
Like,
Right.
If I have it. And on May 3rd, then we,
reconvene this evening and hash it out.
okay.
And we TBD the time and location of the meeting.
May 3rd is
Well, I think we should choose the time now and then I can ask Raven if we can get this room and if not, we'll,
Yeah, there's plenty of availability on May 1st in the boardroom.
Is May 3rd what day of the week?
Wednesday,
Friday.
well, May 3rd is Friday.
10 o'clock?
I prefer it morning.
Okay,
9 o'clock?
how about 9 o'clock?
The
Is 9
morning's
o'clock
good for
okay?
me. They come.
Mine's very,
Okay, so May 3rd at 9 o'clock, look out.
Remember, at the end of this meeting, don't adjourn, continue it to May 3rd at 9 a.m.
Okay, thank you.
Occasion to be determined if we can get this room, if not, we're going to the.
Well, we'll need to know that sooner than later, though, so that we,
Let's just do it at the district and get, and make it.
I'm okay with that. I don't mind going over.
we've got availability, we can schedule
as
it.
long as I know where I'm going.
Yeah, okay, then let's do
I
that.
can- I can get.
Okay, that's.
I recommend, let's go to this, let's go to the district, so there's no conflict, we know we're gonna be there. It's
Okay,
prepared.
so the district office. All right,
You're not on travel either, but.
excellent.
Got that like a, Theory knows that
That's
so well.
exactly
It just
how
plugs
it
it in.
ends there. You too. You too.
Okay, so 9 to 11 on the 3rd at the district board room.
And Chelsea, you'll input all the attachments based on what they need to be. I mean, I'll draw them up and you.
We have a whole different RFP template that we're gonna have to plug everything into, so if you just give us the meat, we can pretty it up.
That's what I want. I'm just doing it.
Yep, get it down, we'll clean it up.
Okay.
Any errors, because I'm going to.
Will the state be posted on the CDD website?
Yep, that's why we had to confirm the location as well.
You need to make sure Yanni knows it.
Mhm.
He could let Ronnie. and
I'll let,
he could
I'll let
rep on the
all the
board.
principals know.
Yanni and Jim Bowling.
KW,
Jim Bowling, because he's there now in interface.
we're.
He just, he's on vacation.
I'm kidding. He called. So yeah, I'll get a hold of Casella. I'll need the contact information for Casella president. And there's a master for Casella, correct? Not buildings.
Yes, I can tell you who it is. It's Bob Conley. who's president of the settlement.
Bob Connolly,
And that's one responsible for the pools.
CON.
Master of all.
And a why? Because I'm going to different one.
Because they have a master and then they have four community.
BBOBC.
I'm sorry, BBO.
BBOBC. And hotmail.com.
BBOBC.
Yes, hotmail.com. One phone.
No.
Okay.
I'm just gonna do it, email,
Okay.
or like, something on paper. And then I just need, Palazzo, like, or Frank, no,
Oh, it's no.
you know Palazzo?
I'll look it up instead.
Okay. What else about the access control RFP?
I just have a question. Are we going to include Wiser as an option to rebid or?
It goes out to the public and anybody and everybody can bid.
Okay.
But as soon as it does go out, as soon as the bid letting happens, everybody is under a cone of silence. You cannot speak, you can't speak to anybody, any contractor. You tell everybody to go to Gateway, go to the bids contracts manager.
Oh, okay, good.
So that, because,
We did agree, we do not as a committee have to accept low bid, correct?
correct, most responsive, responsible bidder, most advantageous to the district. Now, one of the things that we'll need to work as a group is, do you want to, typically we have a selection advisory committee to review the bids. We can say that this group is that selection advisory committee, but I would think that you would want to include a representative from PPCA. So we'll need to know if that is what you all wish. So that way in the bid docs, we can say selection advisory committee consists of X.
I would think we'd want some, not only.
Absolutely got this.
Yeah, oh, no, but I think we also might want to have somebody like Daniel or somebody like that participate as well.
Absolutely.
And then, okay.
Well, that's part of it, that's the two contractors, the owners are PPCA and CBD, am I correct?
No.
The owner is only the owner of the contract would only be the district.
We're gonna give them the service.
All right.
And so when, we do. In our template, we list that out.
Okay.
And we'll have to select a date and time of that selection advisory committee to meet. Carol's in the back with a question.
Just a question, and maybe you guys have covered it. But I know there was some discussion about when the rover would be roving. And there was, basic discussion that you don't necessarily need it during the day. And I didn't know if this committee had addressed that or not, and maybe it's in there. I just, yeah.
That is correct. The rover will be eliminated during the day shift and possibly halfway into the 4 to 12 shift. We haven't spoken with time schedule yet, and I'm working with the KW as far as assets within the town center, what time they close. We don't need a rover checking, being around here during the time frame, what they going on.
Right.
So have we decided as a committee, as a 12-hour shift for a rover or just a standard 8-hour shift between 10 at night and 6 in the morning? Whatever we need to do. But we also want to maintain coverage of the CDD assets, like the lift stations or such, that they need to be checked out during the nighttime.
And we will have a supervisor on, we're proposed to have a supervisor on the daylight.
Well, that's something else that needs to be addressed as to how they want to handle supervision. And
And how we want to handle it.
well, Albert, H might not close to it, but yes. So as far as manpower within this service, that has not been determined yet based on the folks, access control and roles we want working during week, a week program for the week.
But if it's done right, it'll result in a net revenue savings.
Absolutely a revenue savings all around, including possibly a lot more eliminating the vehicle converting to a closed golf cart. Yes.
So a guardhouse person 24/7,
Correct.
Yeah.
And there's
rover person to be determined, but basically during nighttime or dark hours.
7 days a week, minimum 8 hours a day.
And a supervisory person when?
That we haven't been determined yet. Depends on how they want, when we want that individual here to supervise what.
And during peak season, we'll have 2 people at the guardhouse all day by long.
There's a time frame that will be changing the occupancy in the guardhouse to 2 access control persons, which I'm not a fan of, but that's the process and go forward from there.
Okay, thank you.
But we'll write in accordingly and we'll work on this logistics.
Can I ask one favor?
Yes.
When you are finished with your draft, whether it's on the first or before, could you maybe send an email to the team via Georgia so that we know that it's done?
I'll send it to Georgia. and
As a
then
reminder as well
Yeah,
as-
I will not send it out to anybody. I'll go right to Georgia and
Okay, just as a reminder, and if by chance you get it done early, which I'm not pushing on it.
I'll get on it.
Okay. No? Okay. What else about the RFP?
So just, I encourage you to, and I've seen this happen not only with this RFP or this existing contract, but with other ones, that you tell them what you want done, not how to do it. Keep that in mind. You want 24-hour coverage, you don't tell them specifically how you want the coverage. If you want supervisory personnel, you say the hours that you want that. One of the things that we've had issues with contractually is our holidays and their definition of holidays are different. So we need to make sure that's clear in the contract. Staff will be also reviewing and providing input to this as well. But Tony will get it and red ink it up like no other. So, and then ideally, I would like to get back to you in close to final form once Tony's reviewed it, because we have to take your meat, plug it into the skeleton of the RFP, and then that way you can see what it'll look like in final form before it goes out. And that, I mean, that takes a little bit of time, but we just have to make sure our dates and everything are lined up. Now, if you noticed in the schedule I gave you, there's like a 2-month timeline between when it's let and then when it's opened. So like May to July 3rd, we account for holidays. So Randy strategically picked those dates. If we have to wiggle, we have to know sooner than later, because if Tony takes less time than 3 weeks, which I would hold my breath, but we may be able to push it out sooner and not have everything be so critiqued.
Okay.
So
What would the date be that I tried to take notes, but.
I'll send it out.
What would the date be where we would have to reconvene to see this final one and say, yeah, this is good?
You said you were going to have it out by next Friday for discussion, final scope discussion.
It's 523 final with the attorney, that's what I have.
Yeah, final. So we'll plug it into the actual, you'll have it back on that, your May date, May 23rd date. You're right. That's your regular meeting.
So
I think that's what he was looking at.
the 23rd is scheduled meeting that we.
Yeah, so you'll see it in final form there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know if we needed a separate meeting.
No.
What else?
Related to this already.
This.
So this is typically a 3-year contract with 2 1-year renewals. What we've done in some of our contracts recently, which something that, again, to think about, is for the renewal periods is to set a maximum escalation. So if typically it's either been 3 or 5% for the renewals, that they can only, if renewed, the vendor can go up 3%, 5%, whatever it is. 2. Okay, well.
Is that something you'll plug in or you want me to write that?
Well, that's the group needs to make that decision. We've done that so that way there's a limitation and they can't hit us with an unexpected cost.
I'd
So
like to keep it standardized. Right?
yeah. And that's in our template. And in this SharePoint site, you'll see the template right here. So you guys can skim through the template RFP doc if internet works. So, table of contents, evaluation, notice, dates, times. This, again, everything in highlight has to be, that's what we would edit. Anyway, you can go through there and skim that.
Kudos to KW.
Yeah.
They've got well, it's good Wi-Fi here.
So with the selection advisory committee, you can review the proposals, but typically you have, and I kind of mentioned this, your criteria that you lay out. You can choose not to do that. Again, this is totally your purview as the safety and security stuff. It's a tool. Yeah. So.
Has Weiser repaid us for, yes, we're billing? Yes, that's been taken care of. Fine.
They did not repay us, they credited
Well, I
us.
take it back.
Same difference.
Gotta be technical.
So-
We didn't get a check.
So Weiser has been-
Not currently, but they're,
Currently not, my plan is yes, they will be. And we have to come up with a schedule. I could be aggressive, maintain the contract, or aggressive.
And Marty, until the truth is told, nobody ever checked it.
well, and similar to the landscape that we spoke to earlier, unless you have a point person, monitoring and making sure and checking, it's very hard to hold them to that contract. Documentation.
Will be a penalty phase.
All right. Ready to close this item and move on to anything else we need to talk about today? All right, you have something, Bob? Okay. It'll come to you, I'm sure.
I hope.
Any other items that we need to discuss today?
Oh,
Or did you remember?
we had talked before about the possibility of approaching the community association to get a lot over an RV lot for the power equipment. Daniel has since reconsidered and said it's better to put it in the trailer and bring it over. Since the employee has to come over every day anyway. It's a cleaner way to go. We control the equipment when non-important. Just let everybody know.
So we have to put that in the budget for next year.
Yes. That's,
So there may be an addition, yeah.
But the other issue with that came up with that through Danny Clemens again, is that gonna need access to water, which has to be metered. I don't know if they're gonna take it from the CTD or they're gonna come here and utilize water from here, or the Gulf maintenance, which has an ample supply of water from the ponds that they can utilize. So that's something a discussion.
Logistically, he's got to work that out. If I know the concern that he and I have spoken to, so getting a hydrant meter from the city of Fort Myers is probably going to be unlikely. So we obviously have hydrant meters on the new Pelican side where we could provide that, and then Pelican would pay for the utility for that water service. But to Daniel's point that he's mentioned is that water, they use that water very quick. So the drive time between Old Pelican and there would take a while. I know he's toyed around at the idea with a water trailer, the golf course. This is all something that has to be vetted, and they have to see what options there are.
and there is a water filling station for that. Currently used by all.
I don't know who's paying that bill though, so we'll have
I
to.
think it comes out of the irrigation system.
Oh,
Which means that we-
That's what
Yeah.
That's the one thing.
that's what I don't think anybody pays for that.
All right.
It's a whole other issue.
well, that's another avenue to pursue.
There may be more of it. I just have to know where that goes.
Yeah.
Maybe one of them also too in the back, but we can.
We'll
confirm that.
figure that all out and make it work efficient.
And this is Stacey. Just an afterthought, I am very interested in joining you. I think just about there. But I can tell you, I already know from my calendar, I'm not available for May 3rd, for May 23rd. I mean, town, whatever. And it seems like right now, the focus would be the security contract, where I would like to be involved. If you guys so need it, I would be happy to put my name in the ring and at least be copied on this so I could offer comments from afar. or even as, but it may be inappropriate. So that's up to you guys.
I would suggest that until you're an actual member of the committee, we don't offer that opportunity to the rest of the residents in Pelican, so I'd be hesitant on doing that. Although I like that you're trying to be proactive.
So now,
Any other items for today's meeting?
I know forum's always an issue. I won't be available on May 23rd for the next meeting. Yeah, right, so.
But then Jim should be on. By then Jim should.
Yeah, good. Is Ed still on the committee?
No.
No,
I think Ed resigned,
Ed resigned.
and so did Larry Dixon.
Right.
Oh, he did resign.
Both resigned.
Oh, okay. Just one other thing, I want to thank your staff for all the the work they've done on the sidewalks, all the shading and all that. I mean, for somebody that runs on those things, I mean, they've been out there a lot. It's really nice.
I think they've seen every inch of sidewalk in Pelican over the last couple weeks, so.
I've seen them bark, I've seen them out there working.
Well, if you see mold, make sure you report it. Yeah. I go to the break. Now we can do it. All over. No, it's called, so we get a routine out.
Well, and just to jump back, thank you. I will convey that to them. Just to jump back, and since Daniel's not here, Daniel takes a total comprehensive approach. So going back to the monuments, I know we've got some complaints of, monuments need pressure washed. We want to go through and do them all at the same time. We don't want to, if we pressure wash, then we're going to paint, or lighting, we're going to address all of that in one turn. I know that's really the landscaping, but that's one complaint that's come up lately. And again, encourage folks to use See-Click Fix, report items. There's plenty of eyes out here. We've got 40 hours dedicated. So we're going to, not that we weren't before, but we're going to be more proactive in addressing a lot of these issues. So
Maybe it's not perfect for here, but the gray painting, is that going to be done throughout the community?
No, the short answer is yes.
Yeah.
What it's gonna look like?
Yeah.
They talk about it.
Okay.
And the other thing related to body is
Who
get away,
decided that?
to get away from broadcast sprinklers, trickle, so we don't stay in our pockets. There's a lot.
the landscape subcommittee, it was vetted through them. They had multiple meetings on the issue. They had companies bring in different color schemes, and it was voted there. They discussed it in length right before your meeting here. They have some things that they want to tweak with regards to, instead of black lettering, they want to look at bronze lettering. But that is the color scheme that is intended to be throughout the community.
Has been consent by PTC.
Oh, okay.
And when they go to the individual neighborhood landscape, they're gonna talk to the HOAs. Make sure that
I presume that color will wear a lot better than the current color. I mean, the current colors now tend to look rusty, or I just figured make them better instead of one like
Mark is gonna talk at the president's.
Okay.
Are they gonna put the verters on the sprinklers?
I'm sorry.
They put the verters up. They have these shades that divert some water away from the building.
I think they're gonna go to trickle rather than spray.
I don't think you can go, if they're gonna put some.
Oh, really?
Inside the head on them.
Yeah.
The last time I was in it, was in trickle, but if
They're troubleshooting it.
And then just to add on to that, when they paint the town center, the color scheme that they're going to use for town center repainting is what they've done. With the blue left vibrant.
Yeah.
Do I have a motion to continue this meeting to May 3rd,
At 9 a.m. at
9 a.m.
the district office.
Danny Clemens, I make a motion to continue this meeting to the May 30th at the district office.
I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
All opposed? Okay. Ben,
All right.
adjourn this meeting.
No, you're not adjourning it.
You're continuing it.
You're done.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
Let's
continuing
continue.
this meeting. We're pausing. Okay, thank you. That's a better word.
All right.
We are pausing this meeting as